Hey. And good afternoon, parents of the West Shore School District and taxpayers. So this is Mariana, and this is, well, a brand new year, 2026, and what a year it's been, hasn't it? Basically, we're seeing so many things happening internationally, nationally, and even locally. So yeah, this is a year, guys, that I believe a lot of prayer is going to be needed, and this is a sign of the times, and you guys know what I mean with that. But let's get to the issue at hand, and I am going to give you some updates, okay, on the West Shore School District. So, for starters, let's begin with this little jammy that somebody emailed me. And I must say that, yeah, my jaw kind of dropped. So, on the 15th, I believe that's this Friday at 4 p.m., they're encouraging all the students to go out to the Capitol, okay, to rally against ICE. Now, listen, guys, whatever your opinion is about this is your opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. What we're not allowed to do, however, is go against law enforcement and not comply with their orders because at the end of the day, they are law enforcement and they can arrest your booty. Okay. And I am going to strongly encourage parents to keep their children away from this event, especially your high school, middle school, and God forbid somebody has the brain fart of taking their elementary school students to this event. Okay. There are other ways of you expressing, you know, your discontent. Yes, everybody has the right to protest, okay? Peacefully protest, which is not what we're seeing on TV. And what I'm saying with this is that if you're a parent with some common sense, please keep your child away from this because although they are announcing it as a peaceful protest, we all know that this can turn violent at any point because it just takes one. It just takes one Looney Tune, okay, to make this go, array, and this whole event turn violent. Okay, so the intentions may be peaceful, which I believe they are. Okay, however, you have to really weigh the risk. Okay, and we're talking about your child. So I would highly encourage you not to allow your child to attend this event. I mean, you can't do anything if your child is over the age of 18 and they want to act stupid in the streets. But if they are going to attend, just, remind them. Remind them it's a peaceful protest. And the moment that you see this turn violent or crazy in any way, get out. Okay, get out of Dodge. And if a police officer asks you to comply, then comply. We don't need more events taking place. We just don't, especially without kids. So excuse me, but for drinking, but that's a little bit of coffee. I've been a little down uh, health wise for a couple of days now, and it's that little virus going around. It's not nice. So let's get to talking about the school board. Yeah, I haven't forgotten you guys. You haven't seen me, but I haven't forgotten you. I've been seeing you. Okay, that being stated. So we already know that this year started with a whole new board. Okay, so the Liptards were able to flip the board, and all with the exception of three, uh, woke, agenda-driven school board members. And remember, guys, that elections have consequences. So I say that to say that there are a couple of things going on in the school that hopefully the school board will take notice and find some sort of solutions for. But let's get with the topic of Geis White first. So Geis White is back in his seat of precedent, which I think was a brain fart. They should have put somebody there. Honestly, if I had the choice between Cambig and Geis White, I think I would have preferred it to be Cambig. Okay. Yeah, he's Beaker from the Muppets. I get it. But he might have one of the two P's for a brain at times. At times, maybe. Although I would have totally loved it to have been Brenda Cox, Mandy, or David. But of course, they have something to prove, and we all know that this election was stolen. Okay, we know that they ran on campaigns of deceit. And we all know that. We all know that. Okay. I'm not saying anything that's new. Anyway, so Geis White is back in power and he is as tyrannical and clueless as ever. So I am hearing. So, what are the issues within the school? Okay. First and foremost, let's start with Cedar Cliff High School. So, we have an issue here that has been reported to us, and we're still getting more information, gathering more information on this. Is that we had, I believe it's two Cedar Cliff students assault two teachers. Okay. And you know, we have been saying for the longest that there is violence in the schools of the West Shore School District. We have an administrator that for years has been saying that that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie. That that's Mrs. Reed making it up. No, it's not Mrs. Reed making it up. There is violence in the West Shore School District, student against staff, and vice versa. Okay, because that's the truth of the matter. Not only do we have violence, we also have drugs in our schools. Okay, so he can sit there and deny all he wants because all he cares about is his image. All he cares about is the status of the West Shore School District, not losing ranking. That's what he's cares about. Federal fundings. Okay, that's all he cares about. But we're going to be researching this a little bit more. And as we get more information on this, we will keep you informed. But as of right now, yes, it's been reported to the parents that a student or students attacked some teachers at the Cedar Cliff High School. Okay, and we already know about the fire drill, the fake fire drill. Somebody pulled the fire alarm. Okay, but that's been happening since I guess fire alarms existed in the school. They think it's a prank. It's not. It's dangerous, and that was handled. Now, the next thing that we are going to speak about is the issues with the special ed department. Okay, in the West Shore School District. I've been one harping on this for years now. Our special ed department is really lacking. Okay. And we do not understand how a computer teacher is going to make more money than a special ed teacher when a special ed teacher has to deal with more issues, okay, when it comes to the children and be sure that certain services are in place for these kids. Okay. But this is what's happening in the West Shore. It's like the special ed department is bottom of the totem pole. And we've been saying this for years. We've been saying this for years. Okay. So this year, we had a parent go on CBS, okay, and the parent was speaking about her special ed child, both her and her husband. So her special ed child suffers seizures. Okay, has a couple conditions, but one of them is to suffer seizures. And I saw the interview. As per the father, these seizures can be every other day. So, due to that, this child needs a school aide from morning to evening until the child gets back home. So, what's happening is, as per the parents, the school aides are not showing up for work. Okay. And the last shenanigan was that the school aide departed the bus, left the bus, went home while that child was still on the bus. Okay. The issue is this listen, I don't blame the school bus service. Okay. I don't, because that driver may not have known the condition and severity of the child. So let's keep this real. Okay. And the school aide did. So whether it's an issue that the school aide is not going to be paid overtime, and I'm not sure if that's the issue or not, okay, or had an appointment or had something to do or just wanted to clock out, that school aide should have remained on that bus until the student assigned to him or her reached the destination safely. Do I blame the school bus company or the driver? No, because I mean, if the person wants to leave, there's nothing that the bus driver can do. Now, if the bus driver, then this is the part of concern. If the bus driver is not familiarized with the condition of the child, would this child have had a seizure on the bus? Was the bus driver qualified enough to handle the situation? Because that's the danger of it. If this bus driver did not know the condition, I don't know whether they did or didn't, okay? Or this bus driver is not medically qualified and medically trained. I don't know if he or her was or was not. And this child has a seizure. Now we have a lawsuit. Now we have a lawsuit. Okay. And this is part of what I'm saying about the special ed department being bottom of the totem pole. This is exactly what I'm trying to say here. Okay. I was speaking to some community members about this, and one said something that, yeah, kind of resonated, kind of made sense. He said to me, well, there might not be money in the budget, okay, for these services, which I can see that happening. Okay. Now we'll have to take a look at the budget when it comes to this to see specifically how much is allotted. I do know that special ed teachers and the aides are not being fairly paid, shall we say. I mean, they have a decent pay, but with everything they have to go through, they should get more money. But my issue outside of that is with the amount of taxes that comes out of our pockets. Okay. And the tax to the max mentality that Brian Geiswhite has, that he's going to tax us to the max for the next 10 years. Okay. There should be enough money, okay, to allot to the special ed department, students, teachers, and services. So they want the tax money, but what are they doing with with the tax money? They're too busy in renovating school buildings, which I'm not saying that some of these school buildings do not need renovations, but all in reason. Okay, we had a school that there was a whole big thing about the floor. Okay, because the parent thought it was marble, but it was terrazzo, and of course, Brian Geiswhite came out to attack this woman, so this tossed those. Okay, to try to make her look stupid. Oh, it was terrazzo, and terrazzo's not that expensive. Do you guys remember that? Guys remember that? It was terrazzo. Okay, but what he failed to tell everybody is that terrazzo, okay, it comes in different grades, and even if you take the cheapest grade, if there is a pattern on it or some sort of design, and depending on the square footage that you're covering, it could be very expensive also. Okay, so we're busy because we want these cafeterias, to have these Starbucks, the signs and all this other stuff. Why not just give the cafeteria what they need? A simple cafeteria, a functional cafeteria, everything upgraded. Okay, cool, fine, dandy, great. And take that money that you're spending on nonsense and help the special ed department and give those aides more money. Okay. Now, I'm not justifying what the aide did, whether she's getting paid or he's getting paid, accordingly or not, has nothing to do with what happened because they were hired for a job and they decided to do their own thing. Okay. That needs to be addressed and hopefully it's addressed. Hopefully it's addressed because we know how this school board is. I mean, meaning the people, the veterans they're sitting, meaning Geiswai and Cambeck and anybody from the old, okay, ward that's still sitting there. They love to sweep things under the rug and then say that it was solved when it was not. Okay, and we have an administration that all they can do is deny, 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 deny. That's it. Nothing's happening. Everything's perfect. Okay. But these are the issues, okay, that is happening at the moment at the West Shore School District. Okay, we need to prioritize our special ed department. We need to stop with the foolishness, give the special ed department the resources and the funding that it requires, it needs, and it's to serve because they've waited long enough. Okay, they've actually waited long enough. So, with that being stated, guys, again, this coming rally in Harrisburg against ICE, I will highly encourage you to speak to your child, especially if your child is 18 or over, and dissuade them from going because this turns to be a little bit dangerous. If you are going to take children under the age of 18, I think you're a lunatic, a nut, and irresponsible. But keep in mind that these things can turn violent, and what it takes is one nutcase, okay, for it to go, in a whole different opposite direction, and then we'll have, some sad stories in our hand. Yes, it is titled as peaceful. Hopefully, it will remain peaceful, but I believe it will be highly irresponsible of you to take your minor children to this event. And the children that you have that are already, of adult age, got bottom line, yes, they choose, okay, but sit them down and let them know. Okay, if you're there for a peaceful protest, and let it be a peaceful protest, you have the right, to feel any way you want, and you have the right to your opinion. However, if a officer tells you to comply, comply. If a officer tells you to stop, stop. If an officer tells you to get out of your car, get out of your car. Okay, because we don't need another tragedy or tragedies to continue. So this is Mariana from the Boiling Point signing out. God bless.